Welcome back, everyone, and to some of our stories in brief. We begin with the governor of Adamawa State, Umaru Fintiri. He has cast the newly sworn-in members of his cabinet to work towards correcting the mistakes of the past administrations in the state. He gave the charge while swearing in new commissioners at a ceremony in Yola, the Adamawa State capital. The governor, however, cautions them to stick to their responsibilities and not be distracted. Elsewhere, the House of Representatives is investigating the increasing incidence of SIM swap fraud in the country. At a public hearing, Committee Chairman Abubakar Fulata faulted financial institutions and telecom operators for what he calls the blame game between them over who should bear responsibility for financial loss arising from SIM swap fraud. Let's give you some updates coming from the presidential villa now. Moments ago, President Muhammadu Buhari received the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Mr. Mark Rutte, at the State House, Abuja. The two leaders and their delegations we hear will be engaging in bilateral consultations and also a business roundtable. Bringing more details on that visit as we get them. A lawmaker in the House of Representatives, Mr. Dachung Bagos, is assuring Nigerians that the proposed hate speech bill, which is currently before the Senate, will be shot down in the House of Representatives when transmitted for concurrence. He laments that the bill seeks to breach the fundamental rights of Nigerians as guaranteed by the Constitution, and that the country does not require such draconian law in the 21st century. He made the statement during a press briefing at the National Assembly.
I and my constituents will not be a part to nor grant consent to any proposed legislation that will compromise nor subvert the fundamental rights and justifiable rights of citizens as enshrined in Chapter 6 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Representing just South, just East, we have a senator, which I have gathered all the ideas of our people. I just presented a letter to him with the view of our people in just South, just East. Because I'm very positive, even with this bill, even you, the press, I'm sure half of you here will be in jail and will be given a death sentence. But together, we will make sure that the right thing is done in our dear country.
And over 60 political parties are insisting that the security operatives compromised in the governorship elections in Kogi and Bagos states. Addressing a news conference on behalf of the political parties, the chairman of Action Alliance, legal practitioner Kenneth Udeze, explains that ruling in All Progressives Congress and the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, are culpable for violence that trailed the process. Speaking under the platform of the Forum of Chairmen of Nigeria political parties, Mr. Udeze, who is chairman of the forum, is asking the president to investigate and explain the elections in both states, that they were largely marred by activities of political thugs, and is asking the federation to order an investigation into the situation.
We condemn particularly and in a very strong term the involvement of Nigerian army in the election. It does not speak well of Nigerian army to have its personnel shown in viral videos aiding political talks to hijack ballot boxes. This is the third time the army is getting involved in the election from a compromised position. That the federal government should set up inquiry into the circumstances that led to overrunning of 35,000 policemen by a motley crowd of political thugs. The GOC, who compromised his men, should also be investigated and appropriate punishment meted out to all those who are found wanting. The Inspector General of Police be also investigated to ascertain whether truly 35,000 policemen were deployed to Kogi State, as the activities of thugs does not support the fact that they should have the number of policemen deported. The investigation should also unravel the quantum of allowances approved for the police and to whom they were actually paid. that the blanket blame on INEC for the failure of elections is inapplicable in this situation, as Commission discharged their duties while the security agencies failed the people of Kogi and Bayelsa states. We absolve INEC and we indict the security agencies for the failure of those two elections.
And just about 24 hours after President Buhari gave the marching orders to security operatives to fish out the killers of the PDP woman leader in Kogi State, Mrs. Salome Abu, the State Police Command announced the arrest of 6 suspects. According to the police spokesperson, DSP William Aya, the suspects were arrested on Friday during a robbery operation at Ochadamu area of the state. The police are promising to make public the outcome of their investigation when concluded. The victim was burned alive in her home last week, upper week, in the aftermath of the Kogi State governorship election crisis. 19 progressive governors under the All Progressives Congress Party have been told to clear terms to meet the expectations of citizens without room for excuses in delivering the dividends of democracy. Now, the message of President Buhari at the 3rd Federal Government Progressive Governors Parley in Jos, Plateau State, where he emphasized the need for states and the federal government to have deeper roles to play in meeting the admirations of the people. The president was represented by the Secretary to the Federal Government, Mr. Boss Mustafa, who says the needed leadership and initiatives to drive the process of national development is at work, insisting that synergy between the federal government and progressive governors has been yielding positive results in policy formulations and also implementation, especially in areas of economy.
And to whom much is given, much more is expected. It is therefore incumbent on us to meet the expectation of our teeming population. There should be no room for excuses, and that is why the outcome of this parliament becomes very critical. The decision to focus at this current parliament on yet another set of 4 key sectors, namely transport, health, education, and humanitarian and disaster management, is equally very commendable.
I believe that the progressive governors should work hand in hand with the APC, the Progressive Party. Because like you said, we all can work faster as individuals, but we'll be more steady when we work together.
We'd like to know what you think about some of our stories on Lunchtime Politics. We'd like to thank you as well for watching. Don't forget to indeed tweet at us at CTV Politics, #Lunchtime Politics. I'm Millicent Walker. Thanks for watching.